I'm back to where it all started for me, the stunning and rugged Southern California desert. 3 days, 2 nights, and countless memories waiting to happen. From exploring the wild sandstone canyons, mysterious mud caves, to the breathtaking desert views, we're going deep into one of America's largest and most awe-inspiring state parks. Stick around because this isn't just an off-road adventure, it's a journey back to the roots of TrailRecon. And this is Rugged Adventure, presented by Onyx Off-Road. All right, Luna and I are going to be spending the next 3 days, 2 nights sharing a really cool adventure with you guys. Now, started off in Julian this morning, got some supplies, got some fuel, some very expensive fuel, and it was raining up there. And usually rain in the mountains means wind in the desert. So we're probably going to, we're probably have to brave a little bit of weather, but that's okay. But coming up the mountain already, we went through a gate that looks like it's locked, but it's not. It's accessible. You just gotta undo the chain there. But then coming around the corner, and there was this rainbow. How beautiful was that? I'm hoping for a lot more scenery. Now, we are gonna see all kinds of stuff over the next 3 days. I've been coming out here for years, exploring this place like crazy. I have so many great memories here. It's crazy to think that it's been like almost 10 years, like around 9.5 years since the very first time that I came out here with my son. And man, so many memories. It's always surreal to come back here and just think how this kind of all started. And yeah, well, we're gonna see lots of cool stuff over the next 3 days, guys. And the Rugged Adventure, you can download it. I will leave a link in the description for everything you need to know to find this entire route, waypoints, all the cool things we're gonna see. Yeah, let's go. I've begun this rugged adventure on the Oriflame Canyon Loop, a small section of BLM land, and I'm going to be working my way towards the Anza Borrego Desert, which is California's largest state park. An incredible area of over 600,000 acres of desert with a large network of trails to explore. After all these years, I still don't think I've explored them all. I am dropping a quick waypoint here because in the trail it splits, and if we keep going straight, that takes us down kind of a shelf road, gets a little rocky, a little rutted, not something I think we want to play around in the wet mud today. And to the left is an easy, scenic, beautiful section, and I think that's more suited for Luna and I today. But I've done both. They're both great trail options, but I'm going to drop a pin here just to make sure everybody knows. Well, the sun is starting to peek through the clouds, and I'm hoping as we come down the backside of the mountain here, I'm gonna get a lot more sunshine and shake this rain. The good news is, even though it's really wet, the trail conditions are great. It's not slippery at all. I think there's a lot of gravel inside the mud, so you got plenty of traction. I mean, in a heavy rain, I could see this being a little sloppy, but today it's been great. But I am looking forward to a little more sunshine, a little less rain. I just, man, I'm worried about that wind tonight, guys. I remember one of the very first times Jordan and I camped out here, we got destroyed by the wind, and we ended up packing up in the middle of the night and going home. But sometimes that happens. Not going home this trip. Just pulled over to the side of the trail for a minute to let Luna take a break and just to kind of soak it in for a little bit. That's the one important thing on a trip like this is, you know, it's great to be out on the trail and cover some miles, but you got to stop and soak it all in. And this is just such a beautiful area. And to think that, you know, in the not too distant future this afternoon, we're going to be in the desert and the terrain and the plant life is going to be completely different. So make sure you're taking a minute every once in a while and soak this all in. All right, we've come to another split in the trail, and we're gonna keep going that way down the mountain, which is nice and easy. But if you're feeling froggy and you've got the vehicle to do it and a winch and recovery gear and a good buddy to help get you unstuck, there are some pretty gnarly rocks here if you want to get after it and do a little bit of rock crawling. I've done this once, and it was fun. We banged up some taillights, we pulled winch, we got turtled, but we made it through all this. It doesn't look like you can, but it's actually a whole lot of fun if you've got the right vehicle. But Luna and I, we're gonna keep going that way. I mentioned this section of trail is pretty easy, but there are some new ruts here, and that's one thing that you can always count on out here. The terrain will change. You get washouts, you get things that collapse over trails from the sandstone, you get all kinds of things. In fact, I'll show you something hopefully later today, maybe tomorrow, we'll see if we reach it, that there used to be this massive obstacle and now you couldn't even tell there was anything there. So the terrain changes a lot out here. You just have to be mindful of that. Thankfully, we're in a very capable 4x4. But that sun, I don't know, guys. I'm hoping that sun comes through. You guys remember where that trail split at the beginning of the climb in the mountain back there? Well, we're just now meeting up with that trail, and we're gonna head to the road, air up, and then we're going to drive about an hour, and then we're gonna get deep in the desert. This was just a warm up. Once we get in the desert, now we're gonna really start seeing some cool stuff. But I always love coming through here. You know, we could have bypassed this, could have stayed on pavement all the way until we go to where we're going next. But it's more fun to add as much dirt to the adventure as possible, and I always enjoy coming through these mountains, so I'm glad we did it. So, gonna air up here in a minute, we're gonna hit the road. All right, we got about an hour drive on the pavement, and then we're gonna turn off onto the trail that I've been to many times. It's been a while, but I've been to many times, and I'm excited to show you some of the really key features and points of interest along the way. But there are a lot of trails all over this place, and if you have the time, explore out here. Now, it is extremely green. There's been a lot of rain out in the desert, and the Ocotillo are vibrant green with red flowers on the tips, and I'm hoping we see a lot more of a little bit of a desert bloom as we get deeper and deeper in there. Yeah, I love the desert. It changes all the time. Made it to the trailhead, airing down, and the rain is gone, but the wind is kicking, and this is kind of what I expected. I checked the weather, I knew what I was getting myself into. Thankfully, we're camping in a camper and not a canvas tent tonight, but we're heading down into the canyon, so we might get lucky and the wind will die down a little bit, but finding a good spot that's got some shelter tonight at camp, that'll be a challenge. But we've got some really cool things to see long before we get to camp. I was just reminiscing a little bit about the very first time my son Jordan and I came here. Our minds were just blown. We're like, what? This place is incredible. I didn't even know this existed. And since then, you know, I can't even count how many adventures I've had here. In fact, in the early days, we were coming out here sometimes every week for a little while, exploring all these different trails. And then we started camping out here, and then I started bringing friends out here, and yeah, I love this place. Now, I've never filmed a through adventure like this one, talking about all the different waypoints. I've captured it in pieces, but it's cool that Onyx has put together this rugged adventure that I can now share with you, the entire track, all the waypoints, so you can come out here and have an adventure like this. And I would encourage you, if you do that, explore some of the other areas that are out of here, because we're only scratching the surface. This place is huge and there's so much to see, but I'm excited to show you my favorite spots. down in the canyon, there's hardly any wind. Unfortunately, we're not camping in here tonight, although it wouldn't be a bad idea. But I just wanted to stop for a second because I saw this huge avalanche here that's pretty new. And that's something that's very interesting and unique about Anza Borrego desert area is this happens all the time. And sometimes it'll happen and it'll actually come across the trail and it'll create new obstacles. And you'll get out here and be like, oh, okay, this'll be interesting. And then, you know, a couple months later, wind erosion, you know, water erosion, people driving over it, and it just looks like normal trail and it just disappears. But it's cool to see this stuff all the time because it's just, I mean, that's just a lot, you know, to have fallen. And make sure that you don't camp underneath one of these cliffs. All right, now is a must-see if you are out here exploring, and that is the Arroyo Tapiadas, the mud caves. There are many mud caves out here, but this one we're gonna go check out right now, and I've marked that waypoint, is the largest, the most popular, and it's got a cool skylight. So I've been in here many times. I've taken you guys in here many times. Luna's never been in here before, so we'll see how she likes it. But again, just like the trail, the mud caves can change as well, so I'm excited to see what's in here. It's been a minute. Yeah, look here, guys. You can see these are some pretty fresh chunks that have fallen off the ceiling here. So this is dangerous. So you want to make sure that you're being careful when you come in here. The best thing to do is not come in here when it's raining or right after it rains. It's pretty dry in here right now. This will actually flood with water. You can see the calcium deposits here. I think that's calcium. Actually, somebody can correct me. But the water just rushes through here. Always cool to come in here. Oh yeah, look at all these. This is all new since the last time I've been here. Yeah, it's cool. I love how it's narrow in some spots and opens up like this into other spots. All right, I can see some daylight hitting the wall over here. We must be near the skylight. Yep, there it is. This skylight is so much bigger than the very first time we came out here. But it's just been eroded away over the years. You can see how smooth some of this is. Water just must flow down here and just keep eroding this. But I'll bet the hole was, I don't know, a quarter of that size the very first time. Pretty crazy to see. Now you can keep going down further down the cave, but it just opens up to another big open area, and then you can kind of hike up on top of the area. Jordan and I, a couple of years ago, just tried to go as far as we could, and we ended up just going nowhere. Eventually the cave, there's no more cave, and you're just hiking up and up and up and up. One of these days I should come prepared and just see how far I can actually go, but not doing that today. I just wanted to come see the skylight and let Luna play around, and now, I don't know if you can see all the dust, but she's filthy. Come. All right, keep going. Keep going, Ian. There you go. Good girl. I don't care if it's your first time or your 50th time. It's always fun to go check out the caves. Makes you feel like a little kid. All right, Luna and I have had lunch and water and a little break. And next we're gonna head to an obstacle on the trail that kind of had me a little unnerved the very first time I was here. we've hit a pretty good little washboard section, which is typical in the winter when this sees high traffic. And I was just thinking about how much of my life has changed since the very first time I was out here. It's wild. I was still active duty in the military. I was trying to decide whether I wanted to retire or do another tour. The kids were in high school and we were debating whether or not we should stay in San Diego or move. My Jeep was pretty much bone stock and we were coming out here exploring and filming, but not with no intention of really starting a YouTube channel. Like TrailRecon wasn't even a thought. We were just goofing around, having fun, and starting our early adventures. And now fast forward, so much has happened in my life. So many amazing things. I've been to so many amazing places, and I get to do this, thankfully, because of your guys' support. So thank you, I appreciate it. It's exciting to be able to share with you these places and hopefully inspire you to come out here and do this. It's, man, what a journey it's been since the first time. All right, we got a pretty good rutted out climb here, and this is not the obstacle that I was referring to a minute ago. That's coming up. This is just a good chance to like really flex your suspension, and I haven't done this since I put the new shocks on and the camper, so we'll see how Doc does. It feels pretty stable. I don't think I'm lifting any tires, but I guess the camera will tell. Oh yeah, feels good. As soon as we came out of the canyon, the wind has already picked up. I'm gonna have to choose camp very carefully tonight. I stopped here really quick because I just wanted to show you guys something. This is an area that I call the Cholla minefield. That's just what I've referred to it as, but these are Cholla cactus, also known as Cholla jumping cactus or jumping Cholla cactus. I don't know, but they have these little balls that will somehow jump up and attach to your shoe or your pant leg or your tires. But more importantly for me, is I do not want Luna around any of this stuff because those balls with the little thorns on them have like a barb and they are not easy to get out. And the last thing I want to do is have her, not even one, but a bunch of these on her would be a nightmare. So we're gonna find camp out of the wind and away from these. Boy, my list of camp requirements is getting longer. All right, we have reached the infamous obstacle I was talking about. This is Diablo drop-off, which sounds kind of terrifying. I remember the first time we were here on top, looking down, I was like, Jordan, that's steep. And you know what? We made it just fine in a stock Jeep, and I've taken stock Tacomas through here, full-size vehicles. I've towed a trailer through here. We've taken all kinds of vehicles down this, although I've never driven a Gladiator with a camper down here. But here's the thing, as I'm standing here looking at this, it looks like it's been graded. This used to be super rutted out, but it looks like they've come in here and smoothed it out. So there shouldn't be any problem. So even though it's graded, I'm still gonna put it in 4 low in first gear just to play it safe. It's kind of a bummer that it's graded because it's usually pretty fun when it's all flexy. At the bottom, the sand is really soft and loose, and I've actually seen a few people get stuck in here that use traction boards and shovels to get them out. So just be careful when you're coming down here. You know, you may come and it may be completely rutted out. It may not be all smooth here. There's a couple ruts here at the bottom. All right, back on the washboard, and we just made a left turn out of that wash, and We're gonna be heading north tonight, and this is gonna be an up and back section of this adventure, but for two very good reasons. One, there's something very cool that I wanna show you, one of my favorite areas of the entire place. And two, I've got a good camp spot up here that I think we'll stay at tonight. We'll see how the wind is. All right, here we are. This is one of my favorite desert places in Southern California, Sandstone Canyon. This place is absolutely beautiful every single time I come here. And I remember when I tried to get Regina to come out here, she's like, nah, you guys go, the desert's just not for me. And I finally convinced her to come out here, and I took her here. And this changed her mind about the desert, and she loves coming out here. This place it's so cool. It's unlike just about any other place you'll find, and yeah, I love Sandstone Canyon. Well, after all these years, it's still pretty cool. I mean, come on, how can you not just think this is just so magnificent? It's towering walls, very narrow. Yeah, it's pretty cool every time. And every time I bring somebody here, they're just like, what? Are you kidding me? Now, you can camp inside Sandstone Canyon. There's a couple spots where you can camp, but here's the thing. It's a pretty high traffic area. Even though it's a weekday, I could probably wing it. But the big thing is I know the wind's probably gonna kick up, and if it decides to funnel through here, well, that can get ugly quick. So we're going to finish going up and down Sandstone and then head up north. And I know Luna is probably ready for dinner. I know I am ready for some dinner. All right, here's a great example of how this trail changes over time. Now, it's been about 8 months since I've been back here, but years ago, I mean, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, a big chunk of wall fell all the way across the trail here. And all you could do was kind of go through a really narrow section right here. There were some obstacles. It was much higher than it is. You kind of had to put your passenger tire on the wall here to kind of get through. And there was this big boulder. I mean, it must have been 4 or 5 feet tall on this side. And over time, this became flatter, but you still had to squeeze between the boulder. And then the boulder started getting smaller, and eventually there was another trail over here on the side, which was a little easier to go. But this one wasn't ever hard. It was just took a little bit of time. But now you can see it doesn't look like anything. It just looks like a sandy wash. In fact, I'm really surprised that that boulder is gone, because I remember when I saw it last time, it was still pretty big. So I wonder if maybe somebody broke it down a little bit, or if it really got eroded that much. That's crazy. But again, the trail changes all the time. Over the years, I've probably seen 3 or 4 different obstacles come and go. You know, considering this morning, we were in the wind and the rain and the cold up in the mountains, and now I'm down here, it's 75 degrees, just a slight breeze. I mean, it's beautiful, and you could camp here. I mean, I'm really debating it, but I do know that a lot of people come, and this is the turnaround point. So if you got here late at night, you were gonna leave early in the morning, it'd be fine to camp here. And I guess that's kind of our situation, but I'm not gonna do that. But if you wanted to come all the way to the end, and then just kind of stretch your legs a little bit, there's a great little hike that keeps going up in the canyon. It actually crosses over into wilderness area. That's why the rest of this is closed. But it's gorgeous. I mean, you just come here and just relax and soak it all in. It's a good spot. And usually if you hang out here long enough, somebody will show up and say hi and get a chance to talk with some folks. But as soon as Luna is done sniffing everything and chewing everything, we're gonna go find camp. I've not seen a soul on the trail all day. We've done 59 miles total. And as we were leaving Sandstone Canyon, I saw 3 vehicles entering in. So there you have it. I'm glad I decided not to camp in there. Those guys might be camping in there, who knows? But that place sees some pretty good traffic. Now, we made a left turn outside of Sandstone Canyon, and we're gonna go find camp. I've got a couple of camp spots up at here. Hopefully they're empty. All right, I think this is camp for the night. We took a little offshoot of the trail and it actually dead ends, and it's flat, it's sandy. It got a little bit of protection from the wind on both sides, but look, if Mother Nature wants to have at it, she's gonna do that. There are a few cactus in the area, so Luna is on her lead, so she'll be fine. I'm gonna take her for a super long walk. Right now, though, what I'm gonna do, set up the camper, and I'm gonna cook some food. I'm starving. All right, Luna's got a full belly. She's over there chewing on a stick. She's as happy as could be. And I'm starving. So I'm gonna chop up a Polish kielbasa and then toss in some peppers. Just stir it all up and have a good little stir fry tonight. That's my dinner plan. And I don't know. I keep talking about the wind, but it really had me worried this morning when I left. I was like, oh, it's gonna be one of those nights. But right now, it's pretty calm. It could be the calm before the storm, or we just might get lucky. This is smelling good. I like just a little bit of char on my kielbasa. Just gives it that extra little flavor. Yeah. Now, if anybody knows, like, how do you keep a dog from getting tangled up in their tether? It's a learning curve, I think. This is the first time she's used this, and I think I've spent more time untangling her than I have cooking. That's what I'm talking about. Simple, savory, I love it. As I was cooking, chasing Luna all over the place, I was thinking about all the times I've camped out here and all the meals that I've had since I've been out here with family and friends. Man, I have a lot of memories in this place. Oh man. This place is near and dear to my heart, that's for sure. And I'm not done. There's still more to see, more to explore, more memories to be made. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna eat this. I'm gonna probably eat all this. Nice, brisk desert morning. A little breezy, but nothing crazy. Oh, whoa, that's my coffee girl. Watch your nose. We slept great last night, except this one here, she snores from time to time. So you gotta kind of like, hey Luna, roll over. She's a sweetheart. I love having her with me on these trips. I'm excited to do a lot more with her. We are in no rush this morning. We're going to have more coffee. I don't think I'm gonna cook breakfast. I think I'm just gonna have some hard-boiled eggs. And then we're gonna head up the trail just a little bit further to a discovery that I only recently found, and I'll share more with you about that when we get there. And then we're gonna head south and then across and then We've got all kinds of cool stuff to see today. We're gonna get on foot a little bit. We're gonna get on pavement a little bit. And yeah, we're gonna see some pretty unique stuff today. I'm excited to show you guys. All right, and we're off. And it's pretty chilly this morning. That wind kicked up and yeah, threw my jacket on, I got the heater on, and started recording the track for day 2 for our rugged adventure for Onyx Off-Road. Now, since we camped there, we might as well head up the trail just about 3 miles to show you guys a spot that Regina and I just found last year. It was so cool because I love coming out here and finding new trails that I haven't explored and new things like this that I've never seen before. And that's the cool thing about this place is it's so vast. There's so much to see here. I still haven't seen it all. One day I hope to, but for now I'm just happy to explore. So just a couple minutes up the trail and I'll show you what we're talking about. All right, we're here. This is Split Rock. Pretty cool. I've driven past here many times over the years. We do what's called Pinyon Mountain Trail, which is a really difficult trail. Never paid any attention to it. And then, like I said, last year, Regina and I were up here and exploring. We're like, wait a minute, there's a little more to this. If you come over here, it's almost like there's this table and you can see that they used to use it as a mortar and they would grind corn and whatnot. And there's still some very faint petroglyphs right there. You could just barely make them out. And I think there's stuff like this all over Anza Borrego. You just have to know where to look, and I'm gonna keep looking. But yeah, a lot of evidence like this from the Native Americans that used to roam this area. So pretty cool piece of history. All right, now we're backtracking. We're gonna head south. We're gonna get on foot. We're gonna see something else really cool. All right, I'm gonna give Luna a chance to run around, and I'm gonna make a little adjustment. So since we've been in this sandy wash, which is kind of some thick sand, there's a lot of whoops in here. And what I've noticed is I've been getting a little more bounce than I'd like. So I'm gonna make some adjustments to the compression, rebound of the shocks, just stiffen them up a bit. We'll see if that helps. Now, I've backtracked all the way back to where we turned off yesterday and we're heading north, and now we're gonna start making our way east. And we have just a little ways to go until we're gonna get off on foot for a bit. But another piece of good news is the Jeep feels much more stable since I made those adjustments to the shocks. All right, here we go. Well, we've made it to the start of the hiking trail, and I was gonna take you on this short little hike. It's about 0.4 miles, goes up the mountain to a really cool geological formation. And I've been here many times, but I've never brought Luna with me before, and I've never paid attention to the sign that there's no dogs allowed on the trail. That's kind of a bummer. I get it. No, I don't really get it. If you just clip off your dog, what's the harm? But whatever, I'm not in charge here. So I'm disappointed. Luna is disappointed. She's not going to get a hike. We'll go figure something else out. But I was going to take you up there and show you the wind caves, which is a really cool geological formation up there where the wind has just eroded these sections of rocks. It's unlike anything else out here. They look like smooth Swiss cheese. I'm pretty sure I have some B-roll and I'll throw that up here. But we're going to keep going. There's some more cool geological formations up here, and we'll let Luna get her exercise, and me too. This whole area is absolutely fascinating to me, and it's geologically significant. Do you know how I know that? Because every once in a while, I'll see a van with a bunch of college students out here, and they're out here taking notes. And one of these days I need to actually talk to somebody that knows about the geology of this place, because it's so unique. All the plate systems, how they're kind of diving into the ground, and you've got smooth rocks and round rocks and just crazy features out here. It's definitely worth stopping and soaking it in. I'm gonna mark a waypoint on the rugged route, guys. You'll appreciate this. Well, since fueling up in Julian yesterday morning, traveled just over 100 miles. And while I don't necessarily need fuel before we do the next leg, it's probably a good idea to do it. So we're gonna head on the pavement, go gas up. We're gonna go see something man-made, and then we're gonna go see something that Mother Nature, oh, she built it well. We're not even 3 miles off the trail, and wow, the wind is kicking. We hit a huge dust storm right in the middle of the roads, had to slow down. Now I am heading directly into the wind. Jeep is not loving it. I'm gonna need fuel now. Thankfully, we don't have far to go, but I did check the weather, and it looks like this wind is gonna hold for a little while. It should taper off tonight. The good news is, for the next rest of the week, it's gonna be no wind. We just happen to hit it at the right time. So finding a good protective campsite tonight, I think, is gonna be really important. Made it to the town of Borrego Springs, which has gas, so we topped off on some very expensive fuel. There's groceries if you need them, and there's a couple little restaurants. But what's really cool about Borrego Springs is scattered all around are these steel statues, and they're very unique. And the cool thing is you got to drive on dirt to get them. So if you're out here, sometimes it's okay to do a little touristy thing. Go check out the statues. So we're going to check out a couple more of these, and then we're gonna go see something Mother Nature built. All right, we're back on the trail, and if I did my mapping homework properly, that will be the last pavement we see for the rest of this trip. Fingers crossed. I gotta tell you guys, the memories are just flooding back from all the times I've been out here with family and friends, and all these places I've been to. Some of these places I haven't been to in a long time. Even though there may be a video out there that you've watched recently, it may have been a while since I've been there. And specifically, the place we're getting ready to go to, I can't remember the last time I was actually here. It's crazy. And it's been kind of fun putting this trip together, because I've done this trip in pieces, not all at once like this before, and it's really exciting to kind of see a culmination of years and years of adventuring put together into one 3-day, 2-night trip. And I can't wait to hear feedback from you guys, what you think about this route. It's a good day. It's windy, Okay, once again, no dogs on the trail. What's up with that? Okay, we only have 100 yards to hike, so I can show you this. So I've left the Jeep locked and running, and Luna's in there fine. I wore her out, and so she's pretty tired anyway. But I want to tell you a story about this spot, and that is the first time I came here. The mayor of Borrego Springs was here with a group of people. They had a table and chairs set up. They had wine and cheese, and they were sitting here to watch the sunset. That's how cool of a spot this is. Now, the sun is like right above us, so it's probably not gonna be as spectacular right now, but trust me, come out here during a sunrise or a sunset, it's perfect. All right, since leaving the overlook, we have dropped all the way down to the desert floor, and now we are in what we call the Badlands, and that's the area we were overlooking. So you've got all these cool formations that we were looking at from top. Now, there's not a lot of trails that go in and out of here, but this is one that kind of gets you all the way through it. And on the other side, there's a couple camp spots that I know about that will have protection. Just have to hope that nobody's there. Now, one of them is kind of a high use area, but if it means not camping in the wind tonight, I might be down for that. Well, after 90 miles of driving today, guys, Luna and I have found camp. Now, it wasn't easy. We actually came in the canyon, and there's multiple spots, and I've marked them all, but there were people in some of those spots. We found this spot, which I think is gonna do. It's still a little breezy in here, but we got some blockage. It's not like it is out on the floor of the desert, man. It is howling out there, and so this will be fine. We'll sleep very pleasantly tonight, I'm sure. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna get camp set up, and then I'm gonna take Luna for a really long walk. I've let her out a lot today, but I know, you know, she's a 5-month-old puppy. She's got some energy that needs to be released, so I'm gonna go help her do that. And then I'll come back, cook a little dinner, and maybe we'll enjoy the stars if we get lucky. All right, we've been at camp for a little over an hour. Got set up real quick, and then I took Luna on a hike. And it wasn't a long hike, but she was running back and forth and just having a blast. She was getting tired. And so came back here, gave her dinner. She just wrapped up dinner, and I'm hoping now that she's tired, full belly, that she'll pass out. She's just been a ball of energy. For me, I'm not cooking dinner tonight. I'm gonna have something simple, but tasty. Some smoked salmon, and I got some carrots and celery and some veggie dip. And yeah, that should fill me up pretty good, I think. And then I'm just gonna relax. There's not gonna be any stars tonight because we got cloud cover, but I'm gonna enjoy the evening. Luna really wants my smoked salmon over here. And then in the morning, we've got kind of a slow start. We don't have to put in quite so many miles tomorrow. However, the place we're going, I've gotta get creative on how we're gonna get there. I haven't been to in probably 6 or 7 years. So fingers crossed it's still like there. So we'll see. All right, guys, we'll see y'all in the morning. Well, good morning. Do you ever get one of those good night sleeps where you're like, oh yeah, I needed that. I slept so good last night. This morning, it's cold. I think the temperature is like around 40 degrees, but with the wind chill, it's gotta be close to freezing outside. It is cold. And when we parked last night, I had the wind coming at the front of the truck, and of course, somewhere along the night, maybe this morning, it's shifted, and now it's coming straight in the back. So I've got to keep everything closed. Thankfully, I've got the buddy heater, I've got the thermal pack, and Luna and I are hunkered down and having some coffee and just enjoying the morning a little bit. But you know, that's important. Your shelter is one of the most important things, and thankfully we can stay nice and comfortable even when it's cold and windy. So gonna have a little more coffee, and then we're gonna make our move. it's good to be in a warm truck. Now, I mentioned that I don't exactly have this section of the rugged adventure route mapped out. I know where we're going. We're going due east, but between here and there's a massive network of trails, and I've got to figure out what that looks like. Thankfully, Onyx has mapped out a lot of these. I just have to piece them together to get us there. Now, I could just cross over onto the freeway, drive up for about an hour and a half, and then cruise back up on the dirt to get to where we're going, but what fun would that be? Gotta make the adventure on dirt. That's what it's all about. All right, we're about an hour and a half in, and I'm having a blast. This is a lot of fun trying to figure this out because there's so many trails to choose from. It's like an adventure within the adventure, and it's ironic because I'm listening to a book right now about Captain James Cook, who he was a guy that had his own challenges, but he was an adventurer, and the sailors that were with him were adventurers. I've kind of been on this kick of listening to nautical journeys recently, and they're just fascinating. But they're talking about how they have been out at sea for over 1,000 days. That's crazy. This trip is only 3. I've got a trip coming up that's 30, and that one is, taking a lot of planning. I've done some deployments in the military. I think the longest I was ever gone was 8 months, so 240 days, 1,000 days. I can't imagine the logistics in planning a trip like that. It must have been crazy. And if you have not listened to the audiobook or read the book Endurance, I'm telling you guys, it's probably my all-time favorite. And that's kind of what got me hooked on listening to nautical journeys. They're pretty exciting. All right, well, this is kind of a new find. We just pulled up next to a kiosk that's out here in really the middle of nowhere. And check this out. This entire mountain is covered in small fossilized seashells. There are so many small clam shells and tiny little fossil shells. This is a pretty exciting find for me, guys. Oh, it's windy out here. Okay, there you have it, guys. Still finding new stuff out here in the Southern California desert. I knew this place was underwater, and I actually know where there's an oyster bed shell way far south from here, but I did not know this clamshell bed was here. Kind of cool. All right, I'm gonna keep on moving. Y'all remember where we started this adventure, right? We were up in the mountains, lush vegetation, it was raining, there was a rainbow, and now we are in no man's land. It is extremely desolate out here. There's hardly any vegetation. That's what's cool about this place is there's a lot of variety. It doesn't stay the same, it's always changing. I love it out here. All right, after about 20 miles, we made it. Let's see what's still here. This is the gas dome, and there is molten magma way down below the Earth's crust here that is seeking a way to rise to the surface. Kind of scary to think about. And it is mixed with groundwater as it's coming up. It's a fascinating geological find, especially out here in literally the middle of nowhere. Whew! That wind is kicking. It's kicking hard. Let's get in the truck here real quick. Oh. Okay, I remember the first time I saw that, and I think it's got to be 6 or 7 years ago. I was like, that's kind of cool. We've got our own little Yellowstone right here in the Southern California desert. All right, it's not that cool, but it's pretty unique considering that there's nothing out here and then there's that. That's pretty awesome. What an amazing 3 days going through memory lane on a personal level, guys. This has been a lot of fun, and I hope you've enjoyed following me along and the stories. Remember, this is the Onyx Off-Road Rugged Adventure, and I'm going to leave all the information down below. You can come out here and have this same exact adventure. And I would love to hear what place is special to you. Where have you been going to over the years that you just love and have so many memories about? Put them down in the comments. I'd love to read them. This has been awesome, guys. Till next time, safe travels.